This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, here. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Okay, and today we were going to talk about...
What is the show called, Johnny? Let's just tell everybody what the show is called.
Oh, how to do things indoors that motivate you.
Or help motivate each other during this hard time. So that's is a good topic. I like the topic, and it's important. And because people around now are getting a little stir crazy. But it's important to still really important to stay safe. And how do we basically stay happy and amused and motivated in a situation here, isolated like this?
That's right.
What are some ideas? You know what? Call people that you haven't talked to for a while. That I've gotten closer to my family, actually, because we all love each other, and it's really an emergency. So I have gotten closer to a lot of family members. So that's good to make a lot of phone calls. And so you know what? Oh my gosh, I asked my mom yesterday what the cruise ship that my Aunt Donna was stuck on and with her husband, and she told me, let me get the name of that, because I'm wondering if it's that one that, there's one from Argentina, and that's where she was, Argentina, trying to get back. Let's see what Mom says. Okay, it is called, there are a few circling, it's called the Solar Eclipse. Thursday is the day, which is today. They'll get off and fly to Chile and then to the USA. And then who knows what will happen with that whole scenario. That might take quite a long time for them to, then not to be in quarantine and all of that. So it's called the Solar Eclipse. I'm going to look that up while you tell me what you've been doing to motivate people or yourself during this time.
Well, I mean, I've been uploading videos, and I've been, reading on some things, researching a few things, like reading online,
Mm-hmm.
And,
so you're taking time?
Yes, I'm taking time.
Taking time for business.
And calling friends, because I figure these friends are more likely to be able to answer the phone, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's true, because they're home. And me too. I've been getting very organized and working a lot, which there's some kind of pressure off of people's shoulders that they don't have to go anywhere unless it's urgent. They're out of food or there's something. But, we don't have our total daily errands that take up half our day. So people are taking advantage and they're enjoying the break. A lot of people have worked 30 years and just had such a regular grinding schedule, and they are having a break. So, but they've closed the beaches here. One of Priscilla's teachers just called today to say hi to her, which is so nice to let the students know. 2 teachers called. They care. and we had a nice chat with him. So he's a surfer, and Priscilla goes, well, I hope you're getting a lot of surfing in, though, with the time off. And he goes, nope, they closed the beaches. That one day when I went down there and I did a video for Facebook, and I said, look, all these people in Huntington Beach, they're walking. There's more people down here on a weekday than on weekends, double. So they had to, because the people were being so irresponsible, yeah, they are not going to the stores, but they were all down at the beach, and now they've had to close the beaches off. I thought they were just closing the parking lots, and you could still go down there for walks, and I was going to do that today to see the sunset, and I don't even think they let you on to the beach for a walk. I'm not really sure, but if he can't surf, why would I be able to walk? Right?
Right.
So that's sad.
Barbara, we have a caller. Would you like to take a caller?
Oh, sure. I would love to.
Area code 702.
Hi, 702. You're on live on Life, Laughter, Happiness. How are you, and what is your name?
The call dropped.
Oh. Can you see if they could call back, or can you call them back?
Let me try here.
So one thing about my daughter is she's an artist, but she hasn't been drawing a lot, but she's been making things in the kitchen, a lot of different kinds of foods, or who knows what she's up to. But today she had the blender out, the mixer out, all the ingredients, and then she went into her room. So I don't know, but she always can keep herself entertained like that. And I have been organizing, just getting rid of stuff. I'm organizing all my eBay, all my pictures, making sure my listings are up to date and everything. So it's been really good for me. But I'm the type that I don't really mind too much being isolated. People think that's strange. They don't think of me like that. But when I was thrust into a social setting, yes, I do. I end up really enjoying it, and I love performing. But that's part of my trait as a Leo, which is interesting because I like to stay like isolated, but then there's that part of me that loves to perform. So if I'm thrust out there, yes, I love it so much, but it's kind of a weird trait that I have that people don't know about me, but I don't mind. I've always loved alone time. I've loved it since I can remember. I always want to be in my room organizing and dusting and making things perfect and creating and making, when I was young, tons of like scrapbooks I love doing and things like that. So that's fun. So it's time to get creative. I did a post on Instagram yesterday saying it's time to get creative. And it's so funny that you and I are doing the show today about this because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get the caller back?
Yeah, she said that she thought Dale was going to be on, but she had nothing to say. But I want to ask.
We're going to have Dale tomorrow, everybody, just so all of you listeners. We changed it to tomorrow. So. But other things that have happened in my life have been just, like I said, I'm talking to my brother every day. Again, I always felt like, okay, he's so busy, he's tired from work. Now he's off work, and he's enjoying it. I talk to him every day, and he's very concerned. He's saying, please stay safe. This is no joke. And when I do go out to have to get supplies, I saw one person wearing a mask. I always wear my mask, and people say, oh, that's embarrassing. No, I don't care. At this point, it doesn't matter what's embarrassing because it's important. I have surgical gloves. I wear those. Then I make sure I don't touch my face, and it's hard to remember to do that. And then to try to tell your 12-year-old the same thing. So basically, I just don't have her go out. And we order, if there's something she really, really wants that I can't make, we do order, but then you have to be careful exchanging the order too and taking in something from the outside where the virus can be on. Okay, like a pizza box. Well, I mean, It's hard. It's a tough situation, you guys, and I want to get through this without contracting this virus. I want to do everything I can to make sure my household is sanitized. I wash my hands. Even the keys, if you think about it, your car keys, your house keys, you're touching those. And then you go touch something shopping, and you're touching those again.
Oh,
and then you touch those
the way,
to go unlock your – okay, hold on. And then you unlock your door. Well, those keys have fingerprints all over them. So that's why it's important to use your gloves from leaving to coming home. Then I leave the gloves on. I wash my hands with the gloves. So then I disinfect the gloves with really hot water on my hands. Then I take them off. I put them above the refrigerator so nobody could touch those then.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
I go and I take a little cloth of alcohol or whatever you have. You might not have that in your house. Hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, anything like that has a lot of disinfectant in it. And then I go and wipe off all the keys and the door handles. I'm not kidding. I do this every time I come and go. The outside door handle, the inside door handle, the locks, the lock, the window, anything I may have touched from going out and in with those gloves on. Please do that, everybody. Please.
I know.
What?
But I wanted to let you know our caller called back and she's on the air. Area code 702.
702, I'm glad that you're here. What's your name?
Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. I know you were trying to talk to our psychic today, but thanks for calling back and wanting to just talk to us.
No problem.
We were wanting to had some problems with people getting busy signals. So I wanted you to call in to kind of test the signal. It seems that you didn't get any. Did you get any busy signals when you tried calling in?
No, I had no trouble both times calling in.
Oh, great. Me neither. So that's good. Do you have anything to add to our topic today, Nancy, about how to stay motivated when we're isolated? What can we do to motivate the ones that we love? What are some of the things you've been doing?
Well, fortunately, I work online, and so I've had a ton of work to keep me busy. It hasn't been hard at all for me to be at home. I'm always at home.
Good. Me too. But we're the fortunate ones that can work online. That's what I do a lot too. What about any of your family members? Are you near them? Are they in other states?
My son is with me. My daughter's in North Carolina. Both of them have been furloughed from their jobs. So it's causing a bit of anxiety for my daughter. My son takes it a little more in stride. But they both know they will be rehired once the companies open up again.
Yes, but I heard on the news, what is the number? 4 million people that have just applied for unemployment. So that's quite a lot. And then what about for me, a self-employed person? I'm researching how do I apply for the help that they're giving each family.
Well,
so that
evidently
is something.
Yeah, this time they are giving freelance workers the incentive. the money that's coming is going to be for freelance as well as people who are employed. So that's a good news.
Good is, but I have to make sure I stay on top of that. And are we supposed to be proactive? I mean, obviously, they don't have time to go reach out to every single person and tell them, hey, do this step and that step. So I have to make sure I know the proper way to apply for that.
I understand that if you pay taxes, you will get the money. So
okay.
It's only people who aren't making enough to fill out the tax forms and don't. Unfortunately, they won't get it. So if anyone who filled out its taxes, so that's the way it was put. It's going to any taxpayer who makes less than $75,000. But if you never paid taxes, I assume you have to fill out a IRS form.
Right.
So if
probably
you have,
form
they know who you are, and they're going to send you the money. And if
so then,
you don't have to do anything.
Okay, so I don't have to do anything. Okay, good, because I do pay taxes. So, well,
it's
that's
the
good.
Unemployment. You have to apply for that.
Yeah, and that's very difficult with the self-employment because you make, when you're a model, you're making a different amount every single month. So it's difficult to prove that for unemployment. But for the help, that's good to know. Thanks. Well, that's helpful. I know some people get really, like when you were saying the difference between your son and daughter, emotions are just running high and different. And some people are like, hey, I like being isolated. I'm here. I have all my products. And some people are like, I'm isolated. I don't have money for anything. And I'm worried about paying the rent. So that'll be interesting because the first is around the corner. There's going to be a lot of people who can't make it.
Right. Yeah. That's the ones that have to apply for unemployment.
Where do you live?
I live in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow. And that's where my brother lives. That must be crazy to see the Strip with no lights on at night.
It is. There's no pedestrians. I drove up the Strip the other day. We saw a total of 5 people all the way up the Strip. There's cars, but pedestrians are just not there because nothing's open. The town is devastated.
Yes.
The unemployment is just unfathomable. You can't really think about how many people are out of work here.
You can't. Those hotels were full of people.
Yeah.
The thing I was going to say about that is that the only thing is that we know these people have jobs waiting for them. It's just that they can't do it.
Right.
But I think what bothers me about this whole thing is the educated people that are disagreeing on certain things. Like, okay, I'm serious. I was reading a study that someone does that says that heat will stop the virus. And then I've heard other people that say that, no, this study says it won't. I've heard some people say that once you get it, you can't get it again. Then there's another study that says that you can. Then there's another study. I've heard people say, well, masks don't help. Then I've heard people say the masks do help. Then I've heard people say that it's going to be seasonal. And then some people say, nope, sorry, it won't be. I don't know who to listen to anymore. I mean, with HIV, you at least had a concrete, uniform agreement on what to do and how to stop it. It's not like, you knew how to not put yourself in front of it, But with this, nobody can agree on it.
That's because it's a new virus. They have no experience with it at all. They're just finding a little bit out more each day.
But with HIV,
totally
when it was a new virus, they knew certain things. They knew, that, you couldn't get it by just kissing someone or something.
Right. Well, they had to find that out, though. They didn't know that from day one. When it was
right.
first appeared, they had to do all kinds of testing, I would assume.
Yes, that's the first one I remember, that pandemic. I don't know if it was called that, but I do remember that. I was in high school, and the AIDS came out, and everybody was so fearful. So we got through that, you guys. We got through that. Now then soon after, it became not a death sentence anymore, and they now are living fine if they treat themselves with the medication. And we will get through this, but this one, it might take a long time. I just am surprised that they think that the children are going back to school on April 17th. They still say that. We get emails from them daily, the school district. So do you think that really, that doesn't seem realistic to me.
You're in California?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so. And they're going to start online, and it's good. The workload, the teachers told me today, is going to be a lot less. So it's going to be about 30 minutes a day of just online studies. But they're setting this up, and it's very hard for them because they've never experienced this before. But it's so sweet, though, because the school is still giving out. We don't do this, but I get the messages that they're still giving out free lunches daily for children because that's what they were used to getting when they were going, and they still were open handing out lunches to people as they drove by. Is that so sweet? They really needed it.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. I heard that in the beginning, but I didn't think they'd be able to keep it up this long.
It's half now, but they're still doing, but it's half the amount. It'll probably dwindle off, but that's a little helpful. So I'm wondering what are there things to do that we could help the community? I feel a little helpless, like I want to help, but how? The only way they say to help is to stay in.
Well, they say, if there's any elderly in your neighborhood that can't get out to the grocery stores.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Can't be, their families aren't around. You might be able to help by doing some shopping for them, but I really haven't heard much else than that. They are asking for the 3 Square, which is the group that does meals for homeless. They're asking for donations, and I did do the donations. So, but there isn't a lot you can do unless you know somebody who needs something delivered. Yes.
Okay. I talked to my friend in Germany who said that he has a pacemaker, so he's a high risk where his body would be able to fight it off, and his neighbors are all doing that for him. So we need to remember that, and if we can't do it, then to find our places where we can donate. And that's so nice of you that you did donate, Nancy.
Oh, well, I'm trying to do what I can.
Yeah. We should put a list on our Life Laughter Happiness Facebook of places that we could donate, that people can donate. Johnny, that would be a good idea for us to help.
Yeah.
If they have a local organization like the 3 Square that feeds the homeless here, then you're more apt to give than if it's a national thing. And I don't think people really believe the money actually gets to them. But when it's a local charity, I think they'll be more apt to do that.
Okay, that's good information. But I remember I was living actually in Nevada, at Summerlin, Nevada, 2010 at that time. And, you know, the town started boarding up at that time because of the real estate, everything crashing. And it was eerie to drive around and see boarded up places, just like one after the other, closing down. And you guys, my brother stayed through that with his wife, and they made it, but it was tough. And they made it through that, but it was weird. And now this is like so much more worse than that.
Oh, yeah.
And I got out of there.
Right.
I moved. I said, I'm going back to California. I'm not going to be able to make a living here.
Yeah, we moved here in 2011, and there was a house on every street, at least one, that was in foreclosure. And that's one of the reasons I ended up staying here, because it was affordable at that time for me to buy a condo.
You know what? That was good for you. I remember I was married at the time, and we lost 3 homes.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people in the same position, yeah.
We lost our cars, our homes. My husband lost everything. He was in real estate. He had a company there with employees and all that. We went from a wonderful, very comfortable, very high-end lifestyle to living in a motel that you couldn't even lock the door because it was so. I mean, I had my Louis. It was so silly. I had my Louis Vuitton suitcases piled up against the door for safety. I mean, we went from that to that. And, oh my gosh! If, something to strain a marriage, it's that. But it's like I might stick with me. You'll be fine because I am strong. I can get. I am the person behind the man that could get through something. But he just turned into literally a ball. I couldn't even explain it any other way. Like he just would sit on the porch, but all balled up and smoking one cigarette after another, and just gave up. Just was. I can't be with a person who gives up. There's nothing I can do. And after a year watching that, I'm just like, I had to go. I had to get out, and I'm better off just alone with my daughter. And it wasn't his child, so it's not like I took her away from him. But that was hard. And so we're going to see all kinds of effects happening with just personal, each personal problem that arises. I mean, it's going to be a lot. So all we can do is pray and try to put out good energy. So Johnny's trying to tell me something. Yes, Johnny.
We have another caller to join in on the discussion. It's 407 your code. You
407. Oh, well, if you'd like to go, thank you, Nancy, for calling in, and call back tomorrow to talk to Dale, okay?
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. And who is our new caller on the line? You're live on Life After Happiness.
Hi, Barbara. This is Lori. How are you? Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Lori.
Hi.
We're hanging in there. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I am enjoying the quality time that I get to spend with my husband, and we are doing things because when you're at home, there's always something to do. Okay, there's always really something to do, but we don't look at it as a chore. We look at it as, hey, this is ours. Let's revisit pride in ownership. Let's revisit pride in having things look nice. Let's revisit our ability to, I guess, appreciate the time, because so many times we don't have enough time to read a book. Well, now we do. We don't have enough time to clean out our email folders. Now we do. We don't have enough time to go through our magazines. Now we do. We want to look through our old photo albums, the tangible ones, and now we do. So he is Aries. He's a high-action person, and he's the leader of the house. And in that sense, where I'm going with this is he's one of those project manager kind of people. So every day is like a project of how we're going to delegate ourselves to getting things done. And actually, we're living in organization, so it's not like, anything goes, oh boy, what do we eat? Everything is still pretty much regimented. Dinner's at the same time, breakfast is at the same time, lunch is at the same time, chores. Instead of him going out to work, he works around the house, and he keeps super busy. I'll tell you, he ordered some burners for the stove online. He installed those. Having him around the house, he's noticing everything and fixing, repairing. It's just really nice.
That's wonderful. I like that because we didn't do that. We got off on the wrong schedule. We started becoming night people, and then I said, okay, we're going to have to start getting up early because the online school's starting, and it just makes you feel like you have a day instead of, sleeping in so late that your day's over. By the time you get going and rolling, then it's dark. And so that's really good of you that you guys really stayed on the schedule and have it organized. That's a good kind of husband to have right there.
We're anxious like everybody else. So it's not all peaches and cream. We both wake up at 4:30 in the morning, realize it's too early, struggle to get back to sleep, finally pop out of bed about 6:30 or 7, and be lazy until about 8:30, and
That's
then we,
not bad.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Lori, you're like still up and about 6:30 to 8. I mean, 4:30 is really early to wake up. Why are you guys on such an early? Why are you not able to sleep?
Anxiety, like everybody else.
Really?
Stress?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
where do you
us.
live?
I think we're Peachy Creek, Orlando, Florida.
Okay. Wow.
So it's not all peachy and cream. We are struggling to get good quality sleep, so we try to take our mind somewhere else and to be comfortable. Ever since we've been homebound, we did it before. We self-quarantined 15 days ago. We just did it on our own. And the 528 hertz music for the plants and for the trees. And living in Florida, Jonathan can attest to this. You live outdoors because it's so beautiful, throughout the whole year. We don't have to deal with snow. We don't have to deal with really harsh things. Now, I know it can get hot, but I've also lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that's dry heat. And now that's too hard to be outside, but not the Florida heat. I can handle it. And we've also lived in, Oregon, where the rain is just awful and you can't be outside. So I wouldn't want to be in quarantine anywhere else other than Florida, to tell you the truth.
Oh, okay. Because I was just looking it up while you were talking about it, Florida. So it is pretty bad there, like everywhere.
I know.
Wow. On the online numbers, I'm just seeing stacking up. So that's very good that you've stayed safe, because a lot of people here in Huntington Beach did not do that, and they were all out at the beach. When the alert came, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the beach. And it was packed. Just people walking around, they thought, okay, well, that's safe. No, it's not, because if you pass somebody who's sweating or breathing hard or coughing, and they are on a bicycle and they just pass you, you just got a whiff of their, micro saliva flying in the air into your nose right there, or your eyes. So masks don't even help with that. So that was very dangerous. They're perspiring, they're breathing hard, they're on that trail walking. That's not safe, people. It's just not.
Well, we're older. We're both in our 50s. So, and we've got a couple of things, that we, health-wise, that we take care of. So we thought to ourselves, you know what? Neither one of us is 22 or 25 or 32 for that matter. So we just said, nah, nobody has to tell us to stay home. So we did that, knowing, given our situation. Like, we're not daredevils anymore. And, it didn't take the government to tell us that we had to stay indoors. We knew what we needed to do.
Yes.
Honestly, we wanted to keep this could be selfish, but we wanted to keep ourselves healthy from contracting any germs out in the public. And that's always been the reason. We don't look at it as forced quarantine. We look at it as we had to take care of ourselves. And when my husband explained it to me in that way, and when I saw him, leading by example, he called in sick because he said, I don't like what I'm hearing. And then after that is whenever they, like 3 days later is whenever they said they didn't need to go into work. But my husband, decided, hey, yeah, I have to take care of myself, take care of my family. And it was one of those things where we've never felt like if we're in by force. We've just basically said, all right, we're going to take this time to restructure, to refocus, because this isn't the first time in history that this has happened to any culture, to any generation. Like my dad used to tell me, you've got a rendition of World War I, a rendition of World War II, a rendition of any kind of virus throughout the generation. So every generation is going to have something to contend with. My dad's no longer with us, but a lot of his teachings, a lot of his words, I reminisce about, and I'm like, yep, Dad told me. Dad told me to watch
Yes. Yes, but they have learned from all of those. That makes it easier for them to get the virus under control with the just the vaccine that they're working on. The SARS has helped. It's in the same family, so that is helping. So I'm just praying that they can get that very quickly, but it takes 8 months of testing once they feel like they have the vaccine. They have to test it for about 8 months on people first.
Yeah, and whatever they tell us to do, it's up to us as individuals to actually say, they're going to tell us how to eat, but we all know how to eat. It basically, this is kind of an opportunity to get back to home cooking, to get back to spending quality time with your family, to get back to watching how you exercise, all those kind of things. I look at it as the back to basics kind of situation that's going to get us out of this.
Well, do you think that this is going to be turning into forever? Say somebody is born today, that they are never going to be able to shake a person. I mean, not be able to, but it's going to be a no shaking hand world out there after this.
That's okay, though. If that's okay, though, you know why? I think because, look, this is why I feel it in my heart. Maybe we were a little bit too reckless before. Maybe revisited, because, Barbara, you've traveled around the globe. You've left the United States, so you know as well as I do. Whenever you go to in any other country, community, or anything like that, you have to acclimate to them, not them to you. So in a lot of other countries, it's either kiss on the right cheek, kiss on the left cheek, a handshake. Or if you look at these other countries, they just bow to each other. What's wrong with that?
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. When you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself, talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
What is wrong with that?
I like it. I think it's really great.
Mm-hmm. And this gives us an opportunity to embrace different ways that people have survived for as long as they have. What did they do differently than what we have been conditioned to do? You know, living in the United States, living in North America. What have we been conditioned to do? And it's like, okay, it's time for me to use this as a stepping stool to open myself out and to learn more about the world, because the world is no longer borders. We're all in this together.
Right. Yes, I think that it will be fine to just be a society where we don't shake hands. And also, I was watching a documentary on Netflix last night about people really are resisting. I guess I was one of them, right, Johnny, about the flu shot, because, okay, well, we have a vaccine for the flu now, but people are like, oh, no, I'll just get it. I can handle it. But why? If you don't have to have the flu, then why not get the vaccine? I got it for the first time because Johnny recommended I did.
I don't really care so much about getting it either. It's just that like, but it has to do with I don't want to have the flu over Christmas. I don't want to have the flu over Thanksgiving. But also, I want to say something else about the coronavirus that I just read. And I really feel like I'm getting a lot of, I was saying this earlier, about a lot of disagreements amongst educated people regarding, certain things. And one of the ones is whether or not heat will kill the virus. Let me tell you something that was just said to me it made a lot of sense. If you get the flu, you get the fever. Do you know why we get the fever? It's the body's way of fight. Exactly. The fever that you get when you get sick is the body's way of attacking the virus. So, right. I mean, it's evolution. So I guess you could argue that maybe just basic evolution. I think when they say heat kills it, they're saying it's more than likely that's going to be the answer. I can tell you that what gets me is like, Lori, she sent me the thing that said that she's had proof that, and people don't listen to it. They say he won't kill. But see, here's the thing. I read what you sent me, Lori, and it was done by a very educated man. And if we don't put value in the person's education when they say things, we can't listen to anything. You know what I'm saying, Lori?
Yeah. Well, I first of all, let me backtrack and admire you, because when I told you what I had heard, you said, send me something credible. Where did you hear that? Was it a doctor or not? And doctor means someone who has a PhD, basically. So I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, it was. So you opened up my eyes to the fact that, hey, Lori, unless you're going to give me something tangible, credible, I'm not really going to believe what you're saying. And that rang true.
It has to do with, this is someone who, I don't remember what it was, but I was reading it. It's not like this guy got a PhD from some diploma mill. This is a PhD who really did a study, who really did show that heat. And then you see these people there, it doesn't help. But I don't know what to say when I read a study that she sent me. I really don't know what to say. Either we put the whole point of getting an education is that people listen to you about certain topics. That's the whole point. We go see a doctor because he has a medical degree, and I guess what I just couldn't understand is, like, see, with HIV, everything was just uniform. Well, I think I said this earlier in the show, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat myself. There seems to be a uniformal description about how to handle it, and how to avoid it. But it seems like with this corona, there really isn't this uniformal agreement,
Yeah, because it's so new. And getting back to your point, HIV, they came up with all of these uniformal ways of detecting and treating over time. we haven't had the time yet to digest this, much less for the studies, the research, the hypothesis to be formulated that leads to the research team, that leads to the scientists working together to get all of this organized. It was just, bam, our life was okay, and then later was flipped upside down.
I know. Wow. Yeah, we haven't had the time. But it seems like we didn't have the time back then either. For a while, people were just afraid, and they thought you could transmit it through spit, but you could through blood. Like, not if their blood got on you, because I danced for a while I competed for a while with somebody who was positive HIV, and during dance he started bleeding somewhere because there's rhinestones everywhere, and it happens. And his blood did get on me, and everybody was like, ooh, they were worried. And I already was educated. I knew if the blood got on me, I will be okay. It's if it got into another, if I had a cut and it got in that
or in your mouth.
Be bad.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so it didn't get in me it didn't get in me, okay? So, but it was sad because I saw how he felt like ashamed, and it was really it really made me cry for him because they felt like lepers. And that goes back to another epidemic way back a long, long time ago. So we just have, this with who has it? Prince Charles, okay? So it hits anybody. It's not like we know, and we can get it through just the air, somebody's breath getting into our face. So this is it is so much scarier. How long do you think this will go on? How many years? How many years do you think we are going to be afraid? 2 years?
Everything is happening at a much faster pace than it ever did before. If you would have told me in 1995 that I was using a cell phone and I was checking my email from my cell phone while I was streaming a movie and reading an article on my phone at the same time, I would have never believed you. So everything is happening at such a fast pace of speed that I don't think things are going to take the same speed that they took, per se, with the HIV virus. I think that now, again, I'm going to say, we don't have any borders. We share science, technology, data, research results, and findings with everybody else on the globe because we're all in this together. So that's going to, I believe, 1, bring us all more united. 2, help us get this thing a lot more under control because China's having a lot lesser series of incidents, if not zero or pretty low. So we're going to take that data and we're going to research that. The same thing in South Korea. They've gotten this under control. So the way that the world works now, again, there are no borders. So we're all sharing. And this just makes us realize that, hey, the world is a lot smaller than what we perceived it to be as little as 10 years ago, as little as 5 years ago, with the things that are coming, with the technology. It blows me away that we're all going through this pandemic. I'm outside at my other house watering my grass, trying to not lose it because our sprinkler system got broken by the landscape. And I'm watching the Prime guy, the Prime truck for Amazon, going to house after house after house in this community, and I'm thinking to myself, this just blows my mind. How is everything happening so fast? And I stopped and I took a prayer break to just call out to God, give me patience and let me just understand and get a grasp because I feel like the dirt is coming out from under me. I don't know how to think, who to trust, what to say. And the only thing I got back was, don't worry, it's all under control. All will be fine. And, keep on taking care of yourself and your family. That's all I got in my prayers.
Yes, and that's so important. I'm glad you mentioned that because I am not being on the show. I should be better at meditating, and I hear how great it is. I had to. I told my daughter, I said, I'm going to lay down, and I'm going.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
I wanted to introduce Lori, and I brought on my, she's called in before. This is Wendy. She has her own take on the virus. We were talking about the virus. Wendy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now, you and I have talked about this virus a little bit. I mean, why don't you tell us what you think about it?
Well, I think if people aren't, that it's mostly hitting people, obviously we all know, that are not in good health. But what I think is people should start trying to improve their health right away. And that this virus is probably it's not going to get any worse, but it's all over the place, and we're just going to have to ride it out. I think it's going to be a couple of months, but I think after it's over, people should really start focusing on what's important, which is their health, which is something you cannot buy. And taking a bunch of medications and pills and this and that, or diet pills or whatever they're doing to take the easy way out is not the easy way out. The best way is to eat 80% vegetables and fruits, like a Mediterranean diet, to take as little medication as possible as they can, and not to take it under like a sniffle or something like that, because what you want to do is bolster your immune system so you don't get it. I haven't been sick in about 5 years.
Oh, that is so true, because I have B12 shots here, and I'm doing that, and then we're forced to have that kind of diet too, Wendy, which is awesome because it's healthy. Because I cannot find a chicken. I have one roast left that I had in the freezer I'm going to make today, but there's no meat. And so people are turning to vegetables and fruits more, which is so super healthy. We're forced to. I mean, have you been able to find any meat out there?
I have here in Florida. I've been able to find meat, chicken, and everything else, but we don't want that. We take Airborne, the vitamin C chewables. We take adult vitamin D chewables. We're doing the alkaline water, and I'm married to somebody from the Mediterranean, so that's always our diet anyway. It's really, really normal. So, like today, I made Great Northern beans. We had semolina pasta with 7 vegetables and a smidgen of meat, because that's the way we eat anyway. I have a bread machine, so I make homemade bread anyway.
Oh, that's so good for you. My mom had that. And you can make bread without bread machine. Somebody sent me on Facebook an easy bread recipe, because I stocked up on that. I found the last bit on the shelf of these wheat English muffins, and I got them, they had 2, and I froze them. And, we're almost out. And, my daughter, she likes sandwiches. She's 12. So it would be nice to make our own bread.
This is what we bought about 9 days ago. We went to the Restaurant Depot. We bought a 25-pound bag of whole wheat flour. We bought olive oil. We bought Mediterranean olives. We bought coffee. We bought tea. We bought a little bit of chicken to flavor our vegetables. and we bought a big bottle of Dawn dishwashing liquid, and we bought a big couple of bottles of apple cider vinegar, because you can sanitize, you can clean with that. And I have 2 bags of lemons, and I don't waste anything where lemons are concerned. I use the lemon zest as well as the lemon juice in just about everything that I cook, because it's lemons, it's garlic, and it's onions that are all antioxidants, antifungals, and I have no idea what else. But that's our practice every day anyway. I don't waste any kind of lemon. And, it sounds really, really humble, but that's how people live in Morocco. So we're just going back to basics. That's what we're doing. And we live like that anyway.
Good advice, though, because I did see tons of lemons. When there wasn't any fruit at first, there probably is now, but tons of lemons out there. So that is, thank you for telling the listeners about that. But I haven't found any meat, but I do have, like, the stock, too. Like, they have chicken stock for soup, and that's a good thing to flavor things with if you can't find any
meat. Plenty of recipes. You take that stock, okay, and you boil carrots and potatoes and peas or whatever you got, throw it in with that stock, and then after it's cooled down a little bit, stick it in a blender or food processor, and you've got a hearty soup with a nice piece of hot bread. Olive oil.
Nice.
Dunk your bread in olive oil. Hot tea. And we eat like that anyway. And I'm not good. I'm American. I never knew any of those things until I married my husband. Potato chips and butter and chips and sour cream is me. Pizza, you name it, cheeseburgers, all of that is me. But, and I still have those cravings, but I kind of scale it back because I was noticing how I felt when I ate like that.
That's
versus
right.
Now, it's seamless, it's effortless, and it makes my husband really, really happy to eat the food that he grew up with. So I'm like, you know what? I think your food's a lot healthier than mine. He goes, you think? And I go, yeah, I think so.
You think? Oh, yeah. And that's my favorite kind of food, Mediterranean. I love the hummus with the pita bread so much. And, and my daughter loves it too. And I said, this is so healthy for you. I'm glad you love Mediterranean. And the olives and the salad and the dressing, it's always so fresh and good with the rice. So then just do the vegetables like you say. Oh, and it's wonderful. And you can find hummus. You can find a lot of good hummus and dip a carrot or celery into that. And it's a great snack.
Well, hummus can be
I had to change all my passwords. What was that?
Hummus can be substituted for meat as a protein.
Oh, okay.
And it gets you full. Yeah. You take some hummus out of a can if you don't want to start from scratch. You clean the preservative water that's 4 times and stick it in a food processor with a little bit of broth. And then after that, when it's all, nice and liquidy, you can put in some tahini, and you can throw in whatever you want to insofar as pineapple chunks, jalapeno, whatever. I've even seen chocolate hummus. So hummus is very pliable, very pliable.
So this will help some, though. I mean, the grocery stores and some people it does help. It is helping. But I just am so thankful. If I see one of those UPS drivers or FedEx, I just say thank you from afar. They are putting their lives at risk every day. And the postal workers, and those people are still at the counters, and they're coming across people every day. And I'm so thankful for those people that are still there, because what if all the grocery stores closed down? Then where would we be at?
Well, I tell them thank you to their face when I'm there. I know we're not supposed to talk and socialize, but if I never see you again, because everything is so transient, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. Me and my family appreciate you, and I walk away.
And they really appreciate it, too. But the thing I was going to say about the meditating is I had to lay down and empty my brain and meditate because there was so much in my brain going on as single mom here, taking care of everything and just so many messages and people and concern. I just laid down and it helped so much. Put some Zen music on, did my meditating, got my brain just empty it of everything, cleared out, and then I was able to face things a lot better. And I know you know about that, and I don't know if Wendy's still on, but you practice meditation and prayer and all that, and how important that is, isn't it, Lori? It's so very important to be able to handle the situation when you aren't so, because stress makes the immune system go down, and they're saying that is a big factor in keeping yourself healthy, like lower your stress. So here at Life, Love, for Happiness, we've been teaching people about that, and haven't we? Tell us about how important that is, Lori, meditating and prayer that you do.
Very, very important. But you don't have to meditate. If you don't know how, there are other ways to meditate that are very individual. Let's say, for example, you know you're going to be alone at home for, 15, 20 minutes while your spouse is out making a grocery store run. Go outside in your backyard or wherever you can. Put your feet in the dirt, in the ground, play in the mud. Just ground yourself to the earth, to a tree, whatever you can. And don't think. Just enjoy, like if you were 5 years old. Enjoy playing in the dirt and the mud. Allow your feet muddy. Believe it or not, that's a form of meditation.
No, I believe it. I believe it. I do. And because, well, when I used to be able to walk on the sand, I'm not sure if I can get to the beach anymore, but that it's good to be barefoot and get your feet in that sand. And like you say, the mud, there's something in it. It is quite healing.
So into your bathtub, fill it up with water, and take some Himalayan pink sea salt. Crack it in there, however you need to, and just literally enjoy listening to your own heartbeat as you sink into the water. And that is also another form of meditation. Just focus on your heartbeat. Let everything else around you do what it's going to do, and literally just listen to your heartbeat. You don't have to count the beats. You don't have to count your breaths. You don't even have to think. That can give you such mental clarity if you do that for a good 15, 20 minutes longer if you are so inclined. Meditation as well.
Yes, and stretching and just having, just tell whoever is in the home, look, this is my 45 minutes or hour or half an hour of my time that I need to just release my stress. I'm going to do a stretch class. And one time I got online and ordered this whole system where it's teaching how to eat properly. When my daughter was really young, just like the amounts of each item, like the garbanzo beans and maybe the corn, and it had little cups and all that's what your body needs. And then it had the exercise regimen, and we did. It was called the 21-day challenge. And oh man, I was in the best shape of my life. Well, not of my life, not when I was dancing, but really great shape. And I did this Beachbody challenge, and it's an online thing where you can be a part of a group where you talk about your progress and others that are going through it, because it's a challenging thing. But they have a lot of different options online for yoga. I subscribe to a nice, wonderful yoga instructor that you do right here in your home. Yeah, it's so much you can do, because don't stop exercising, right? That's important.
Yeah, movement to keep your body fluid and to keep your chakras open and to keep yourself uplifted. We're all, 70% water. So, you need to move around to keep everything going and flowing and moving as it needs to move. And same thing, getting back to the water. If you can handle it, a 4 to a 6 hour water fast will make you feel fantastic. That's why they call breakfast, because it's the break from the overnight fast. when you were asleep,
Oh.
and you didn't eat for 8-9 hours. That's why breakfast.
That's interesting. I didn't know that was what that. I didn't know that. That is an interesting fact.
Well,
It's so important. What? Yeah.
What?
Leave it. Why do
do
they call lunch?
I'm not sure. Why?
I'll find out.
What?
Yeah.
Leave it to Johnny to ask that, right?
Yeah.
But
you know what? Everything has. This is another thing that I'm learning. I'm questioning the simplicity of things, and I'm really listening to the answers. Now I'm really listening to the answers, and humility goes a great big long way. Being really, really humble. So you're making a nice tuna salad. You don't have half the ingredients. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. Be creative. Put in some corn. Put in olive oil because you don't have mayonnaise. You don't have the fresh herbs. Put in the dry ones. Who knows? Maybe you'll create and invent something that you'll continue using even after this, trial period. Let's see how we're going to change our lives. Because I look at this in the spiritual sense. This is a trial to see how we're going to fix, amend, change, or recreate ourselves.
Me too. I even told Priscilla this is a time to work on ourselves. This gives us time for that. Let's get super healthy and organized and make our place where we're going to have to spend a lot of time in the future in here. So let's declutter. Let's make it, really a cozy place.
Can I suggest a show idea?
Okay.
Okay. Being that we're sort of indoors, and I want to let you know about the fact I can have up to 50 people calling in at once besides me, on the show. And being we already have 2 of them, why not? Wouldn't it be neat if we just did a show where we interview 50 people? We get one person from every state to talk about what they've been felt being indoors most of the time.
Okay. Get to work on finding each person from every state.
Well, we can do that with a Facebook post. We can do that with an Instagram post. I mean, what do you think about that, Lori?
I would say leave it open and just say, you know what? Call us in from whatever state, and then you'll go around and see what states have been calling in and say, well, since we put the invitation out there for people to call us and to tell us what's going on in their state, we had a really, really good response from California, and it was really, really nice to see, to get a different view into the scope of daily living in California. That seems like a place I'd like to go visit again. I haven't been there in about...
I haven't met anybody or talked to anybody that actually has corona. Have you?
No.
Yeah.
But you can't talk to them if they haven't really. I mean, well, I guess you can if they aren't in the hospital, yes, and we can. But no. But they say it's going to touch each and every one of us deeply. So as far as it touching me so far, my aunt is on a ship with her husband in Argentina. It's called the Solis. I told that in the beginning of the show. I'm going to have to look again. But so that's how it's affecting me. I mean, I don't know if she has it. It's hard to communicate with her. And she's in this holding pattern. And supposedly today they're going to let them off, and then they're going to fly to Chile, and then they're going to try to get back to the USA. So she's got a long road ahead of her, and she's in her probably late 70s.
I live in
and she's very susceptible to, she's susceptible to pneumonia as well. She's had that before. So what were you going to say, Lori?
I live in Orlando, and I went to go gas up yesterday, and I saw a bunch of people in the gas station coming in from the UK, and they were stranded here, living in hotels, pretty close to my other house. And my heart just broke for them. They were buying breakfast at the gas station, wanting to save their money to be real frugal, because they didn't know how long they were going to be in that predicament. You really can't talk to anybody because we all have a tendency of approaching each other. So, I just said a little prayer under my breath for them. It wasn't one family, it was like 6. Everybody was gassing up. My other house is really close to SeaWorld. It's walking distance from SeaWorld. So, I mean, you see those kind of things. And although I haven't met anybody who has the virus, I have been firsthand around people that are directly affected by it, as in, like your aunt, they're displaced. They're not in their home state. They're not in their home.
Yeah, they're not in their comfortable home, talking about how to make bread and different recipes. What if they run out of money? They can't afford the motel or hotel anymore. Like, they had enough for that vacation, and they were supposed to be home by now. I mean, it's affecting a lot. And that's so good that you say prayers. Prayer does work. Prayer is important. So please keep praying, everybody.
Does your aunt have corona?
I just said that I don't know. We can't always get a hold of her. The connection is not so easy. I will have to call my mother after this and see if it's her sister, and I will check on that. But I'm hoping not. Or I'm hoping she doesn't acquire it. It's called solar eclipse. What was that?
I was going to say that California, Florida, I mean, we see a lot of tourists, a lot of people from all over the globe. We see them on a daily. And this is going to change everything, the way that we interact. I think this is going to humble all of us, what I'm thinking. It's what I'm hoping, that this is going to humble all of us, and we'll stop looking at each other as, oh, they're from the South Pacific, or, oh, they're from the North, or, oh, they're from, Australia, from that side of the world. My hope is that everyone says, oh, that really nice lady, where's she from? Oh, I don't know. The globe, the Earth. She's from Earth, like all of us. I'm just hoping that this will
that's funny. She's from the Earth. I like that, Lori. I do. I like that answer.
Well,
where are you from? The Earth. Cool. I like it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for.
Thank you so much.
I know what Johnny's going to say. We're out of time, so hold on. I've got a cough. Please talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Okay.
You there, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for inviting me on your show. As usual,
Thank you.
Life, laughter, happiness. Right now we're talking about life.
Yeah.
Laughter. We'll talk about laughter when we need laughter when we're living life, and we all need to aspire to bring happiness our lives as well as to the lives of those that we touch.
That's very well said, and you are amazing. Do you do chakra healing?
I wish I did. I would be my first client if I did.
Okay. I'm just curious. Well, thank you so much, Lori, for being such a good friend and just supporting our show and just your friendship as well. We really appreciate you so much, so very much. Your good energy and just being our friend, and we really thank you for that. And all the other callers that called in today, thank you. And your input was really nice and helpful. So please, if you would like to support us, Life After Happiness, go to our YouTube channel, see all of our shows, listen to them, and subscribe. And visit us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And now, Johnny, you can close the show.
So thanks, everybody. Good night, everyone. Good night, Barbara. Good night, Lori. And
good night, Lori. Good night, Johnny. Thanks, everybody. Have a